Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, an accident in Presque Isle leaves a man dead following a medical event that led to the crash.
Plus, a massive trove of documents was released regarding the Lewiston mass shooting that could shed light on the tragic event.
And a local Maine group is working to start launching rockets of their own into space.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith and thank you for tuning in this morning.
And I'm Devin Dagnall filling in for Craig Colson. First, let's get a check of our forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, and tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, let's get into things this morning. Some areas of dense fog greeting us near parts of Bar Harbor, maybe over in parts of Washington County this morning. This will all begin to taper off coming up later on today. As we'll also be watching out for chances for showers. Looks like we've had some of that developing last night. Looks like we'll have a little bit more developing this morning and again this afternoon with this area low pressure rotating off to the north. Now give us some showers in the northern parts of the state as well as in the southern parts of the state as well. Let's zoom things out. That's mainly the main action right now. This area low pressure here setting some showers in our direction as well as some showers and storms over parts of the Atlantic Ocean at this time. Futurecast moving forward again. Scattered showers on the way for us today. Things calm down later on tonight as we'll be under a mostly clear sky with areas of dense fog possible across the region. As for the winds, they'll pick up a little bit today with sustained winds getting close to around 12 miles per hour at times with gusts up to 20 miles per hour possible at times as well. So coming up for today, lower 70s, mostly cloudy, showers possible with that west wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour at times. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mixture of clouds and sunshine, scattered showers for the afternoon period, temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thanks, Evan. One person is dead following a crash in Presque Isle Friday evening. According to the Presque Isle Police Department, emergency services were notified of a single vehicle crash on Cleves Road around 6:30 p.m. Police say the vehicle had left the roadway, struck a building, and rolled back across the road into a field. Police and the property owner attempted to provide aid to the operator, but the operator of the vehicle, Richard Prue, was pronounced deceased at the scene. Police say it is believed Prue suffered a major medical event, which ultimately led to the crash.
Maine State Police are investigating a child's death in the town of Limerick. On June 1st, first responders were called to a residence on the North Shore Drive for an injured child. A state police spokesperson says 6-year-old Lucy Morgan received an unintentional injury while playing outside with her 10-year-old brother. According to the spokesperson, the aluminum shaft on a badminton racket became dislodged from the wooden handle, causing the shaft to strike the girl in the head and pierce her skull. Lucy was taken to a hospital and was later airlifted to the Maine Medical Center in Portland. She died from her injuries on Thursday. The family is from New Jersey and were vacationing in Maine at the time of the incident.
A Maine State trooper fatally shot a man at a home in Hiram Friday. State police responded to a call about a possible domestic violence incident happening inside of a home on Aaron Drive. According to a state police spokesperson, Trooper Zachary Fancy entered the home where he was confronted by a man who pointed a firearm in his direction. The trooper fired his weapon, killing the man. The man was identified as 39-year-old Stephen Nelson of Hiram. The Attorney General's office has been called in to investigate the use of force in this matter. Trooper Fancy was placed on administrative leave, which is standard practice in any officer-involved shooting in Maine.
A crash involving a motorcycle in Augusta killed one person and injured another. According to police, a 77-year-old man from Augusta was making a left turn onto North Belfast Avenue a little before 9 Thursday morning. Police say 21-year-old Hunter Davis of Augusta was riding his motorcycle east on North Belfast Avenue at the time of the crash. Davis was transported to the hospital via life flight, where he died as a result of his injuries. The 77-year-old man was also taken to the hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The crash remains under investigation.
The driver in a crash that killed 4 Maine Maritime Academy students in December 2022 received his sentence in court Friday. A judge sentenced 21-year-old Joshua Rating to 18 years in prison, with all but 3 suspended. He'll also serve 3 years probation. During the hearing, Rating addressed the families of the victims.
The night of December 10th plays over and over in my head every day and every night. They were my best friends, and I loved them more than anything. We did everything together, and I never meant to hurt them. I really want to say I'm sorry to the family of Chase Fawcett. I'm really sorry to the family of Luke Simpson. I'm sorry to the family of Riley Cameron. I'm sorry to the family of Brian Keeley.
Family members of one of the victims spoke during the sentencing and offered their forgiveness.
The latest in the search for answers in the Lewiston mass shooting. The Maine Department of Public Safety releasing a massive amount of new documents on Friday afternoon related to the investigation. Dan Lampriello has been sifting through the thousands of pages and has more.
These new documents were released after the I-Team and other Maine news agencies requested them months ago. They range from search warrants and interviews to the evidence that was collected at the crime scenes as well as the shooter's home. Many are heavily redacted, but we are learning some new details. One of the biggest takeaways came from the search of Robert Card's home. It didn't happen until 14 hours after the shooting at Smenge's Bar, as well as Just-in-Time Recreation. But once investigators did get inside his home, they found his phone, an arsenal of weapons, as well as a handwritten note from Card himself. It appears that note was left for a family member to read because it gave off locations of accounts and passwords. But Card also wrote in that note, "Love you and enjoy your life. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, I guess. I just wanted to play cornhole with my hot girlfriend and be left the expletive alone." Documents also outline the evidence collected inside of Card's home. That included medical records, a pill bottle, though the type of medication was redacted, numerous guns, as well as hollow point rounds of ammunition. A night vision monocle was also found in his gun safe.
There are still many more documents to go through, but the website housing them went down on Friday, just a few hours after it was put up, due to what state police call technical difficulties. According to our media partners, WGME, state police are working to get it back up and running, but that may not happen until at least tonight. That was Dan Lampriello reporting.
Firefighters called for a second alarm Sunday morning in Levant as they battled a structure fire that left a garage completely destroyed. Crews responded to the Hodgson Road just before 10 a.m. after a homeowner reported that their 4-bay garage was on fire. Levant Fire Chief Eric Strout says the building was fully engulfed upon arrival, but nobody was injured or inside at the time.
So when we first got here, we had some challenges. We had utility lines that had come down on this one-way Hodgson Road, which created its own set of challenges to navigate around for the safety. We got on scene. We did have a 4-bay garage that had heavy fire from all 4 sides of the building itself.
There were no vehicles inside the garage, and Chief Strout says the home was not impacted by the fire as the garage was not attached and was more than 100 feet away from the residence. At this time, the fire department has not released the official cause of the fire.
A fast-moving fire was a real battle for fire crews in Millinocket, also Sunday morning. If it wasn't for mutual aid and quick-thinking crews in the town, it could have been much worse. Flames broke out around 9 a.m. on Medway Road in Millinocket, completely engulfing and destroying a garage. Crews were still fighting embers and helping clean up into the early afternoon. Several mutual aid fire crews from as far as Lincoln fought the blaze, watching for exposure to nearby homes.
Upon arrival, garage was fully involved. We had fire spreading to the adjacent home on the property as well as to the neighbor's adjacent home. Crews began attacking the fire on each house.
No one was hurt in the incident. The fire marshal's office was called to the scene to investigate the cause. The Millinocket fire chief said homeowners are relocating with family and friends.
The Maine Air National Guard was on display Friday as Senator Susan Collins, along with the Secretary of the Air Force, stopped in for a tour of the facility. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard has the story.
Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall stopped and toured the Maine Air National Guard base in Bangor on Friday. He made the stop after being in Normandy for the 80th celebration of D-Day.
Yeah, it's extremely humbling to have Secretary Kendall visit the Maine Air Guard today. It's rare. It's never happened in my 20 years being a member of the Maine Air National Guard.
The visit with the Secretary went extraordinarily well.
Secretary Kendall spent around 3 hours touring the base and talking with a group of over 650 service members.
I think he learned a lot about the vital mission played in refueling aircraft by this base.
Secretary Kendall showed a genuine appreciation of the airmen here at the 101st Air Fueling Wing, and it was very nice to see that support.
Senator Collins used the opportunity to advocate for the modernization of the Air National Guard equipment and infrastructure.
The KC-135 that is behind me is 50 years old. We need new tankers. The new tankers are called the KC-46, and I am trying to get Bangor moved up the list to get a new aircraft as soon as possible. This base has an extraordinary record when you look at productivity. For example, during the war with Afghanistan, this base did more refuelings than any base, active or reserve, on the entire East Coast.
In Bangor, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 8:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, every baby born at the Maine Coast Hospital in Ellsworth will be receiving a care package, including books and a voucher for a new library card.
But first, let's take another look at our forecast. All right, it looks like today it's going to be overcast with some rain possible with a high of 72. It's going to clear up a little bit tonight, but we're still going to have some fog with a high of 50 degrees. And then tomorrow there's going to be a chance of rain. It's going to be a little bit warmer with a high of 78.
Febreze. Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy Plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze Plug.
Spring is here. And now is the time to call Hickory Dickory Decks for your new deck, sunroom, or enclosed porch. They specialize in custom outdoor living and making your dream oasis a reality. See for yourself how Hickory Dickory Decks can transform your existing porch into a 3-season sunspace sunroom. Call Hickory Dickory Decks now for your free estimate. And enjoy life outdoors.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
When Electrify Maine wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Electrify Maine provides outstanding electrical services to eastern and central Maine. They are a licensed Generac dealer specializing in generator and heat pump installs. Call today for a free estimate.
She's the apple of his eye.
Ta-da! What do you think?
You look beautiful. And you're grounded.
She may be a tomboy.
You're so lucky you get to be in Junior G.I. Joes. And you're lucky I don't want to get blood on my uniform.
But she's still Daddy's little girl.
Sit down, I want to talk to you for a minute.
This isn't a sex talk, is it? Because I already know more than I'd like to.
Learn all about Eve.
Am I supposed to understand what you mean by that?
Mm-hmm. On Last Man Standing.
Weekdays at 3 on Fox 22.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Well, Mainers reaching for the stars. That's what a space company in our state is now planning to do by launching a series of small satellites. Brunswick-based Blue Shift Aerospace says the fast-growing small satellite market currently relies on large players such as SpaceX to get their tech into orbit, and that has very long wait times. Instead, the company wants to do it themselves, right here on the coast of Maine.
Yeah, we're really excited about what we're doing here in Maine. We realize that it's still, it's still jarring in some ways to see big space, big rockets launching from Texas, Florida, and imagine that Maine is doing something similar.
But Derry says they are in fact not doing something similar, as they're launching similar rockets in more environmentally conscious ways. Blue Shift says they have raised enough money to begin work next year and hope to start launching satellites in 2026.
The Ellsworth Public Library has many events to promote reading to kids, and a new literacy initiative partnership with Northern Light Health will provide free library cards to the littlest of little ones. Every baby born at the Maine Coast Hospital in Ellsworth will receive welcome packages from the library, including board books and a voucher for a free library card. The program is funded through money dedicated to the late Melanie Zador, who volunteered at the hospital and was vice president of the Friends of Ellsworth Library. The card is completely free regardless of where a baby and parent may reside.
Over 3 million used needles were exchanged in 13 communities last year. According to the Maine Center for Disease Control, Response, and Prevention, syringe services programs are crucial to reducing the risk of blood-borne infections such as hepatitis and HIV. In 2023, syringe services programs collected over 3.1 million used syringes, distributed over 3.6 million new syringes, conducted 373 total HIV tests, and provided 2,574 people with naloxone. The director of the Maine CDC says this program is essential to their mission.
Why is that important? It's important because, it helps provide these clean needles so that people don't share needles or reuse dirty needles, right? And that is one of the routes of how blood-borne diseases are spread.
Currently, Maine has 13 syringe services programs operating across the state.
Day one of the annual Special Olympics Maine State Summer Games kicked off Friday at the University of Maine with around 2,500 competitors from across the state. One organizer tells us it'll be one of the largest sporting events this year. Friday's events included unified relays and bocce competitions. This year, 121 bocce, I believe it's, excuse me guys, no, I'm almost certain it's bocce teams competed in the event, making it the highest participation in the Summer Games history.
Athletes are trained and they know the oath. Let me win. If I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. And to be able to see an athlete finish 8th place in an 8-person heat and to see them just as excited because they got 8th place, because they were part of this group, part of this organization, part of the process, I think that says it all.
The games go through tomorrow starting at 9 a.m.
A group of hardworking students in Levant got to ride to school in style thanks to the local fire department. All year, 4th graders at Levant Elementary have been participating in the fire prevention education program taught by the Levant Fire and Rescue Department. The students who completed and passed in all of their homework from the program were put into a drawing for a ride to school in a fire truck. The lucky few selected got to ride around town and were dropped off at school by the fire department. But that wasn't where the fun ended. The screaming and the kid who says, "Schmear it," that's my favorite.
It was a great time.
9 students were also given the chance to pie Levant firefighter Steve DeWitt in the face.
That's what it's about. You put in hard work, and you're trying to teach something, and they're kids this age are sponges, so they're taking that home to their parents.
Looks like he has a little pie in his eyes, but very, very generous of him to let that be the motivator. DeWitt says if all of next year's class can complete their homework, they'll get to shave his head. And you covered that story. It looks like you had a lot of fun too, right?
It was such a great time, and Levant, they're just great sports about everything. Right. The kids love them there, right. And they've got a great program. They've been doing it for years now.
Yeah. What a great way to do fire prevention and safety.
Absolutely, absolutely. Keeps the kids engaged, and they seem to love the program.
I want to pie Steve in the face.
I think he had enough.
Right, I think so. Okay, the time now is 8:19. After the break, June is Pride Month, and we'll take a look at how some places around Maine are celebrating.
More on this when we return.
In 10 years, Lisa Schneider will have an amazing second act, thanks to career reskilling courses from AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. The younger you are, the more you need AARP.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh.
So fresh. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection. Try for under $5.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainbarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
Had enough of long lines, empty shelves, and overcrowded megastores? Discover Parody Shop and Save in Brewer, your local culinary oasis in the North Brewer Shopping Center. Revel in fresh produce, pantry must-haves, organic delights, and Aroostook County's beloved products, all affordable and high quality. Can't find an item? We'll special order it. Shop with us today and feel the difference of our family-run, community-focused grocery experience.
Harvey High is now in session. Today's subjects, science.
Name something that can make the earth move.
Heavy rain.
Hold on, it's raining.
Health class.
Something you drop in the toilet and still use it afterward.
Toothbrush.
Nah, I'm not sticking that in my mouth. We're not doing teeth brushing today.
Get schooled with Family Feud.
Weeknights at 7 on Fox 22.
Pride Month celebrations are kicking off throughout Maine this month. Community members gathered at Knowlton Park in Ellsworth for the city's 4th annual Pride Festival. Our Grace Blanchard has the story.
There's so many reasons to be proud of Ellsworth right now, and that's what we are. We are proud, and we're not going away. We're here.
The annual Ellsworth Pride Festival has become a community celebration that many look forward to every June.
We are here to celebrate Pride and promote the civil rights of the LGBTQ+ community.
The city's first festival in 2021 was inspired by students from Ellsworth High School who wanted to bring attention to bullying against members of the LGBTQ+ community.
I'm a teacher at Ellsworth High School, and so we've talked a lot in recent years about bullying. And if you really want to solve that problem, you have to really consider who is being bullied and why, and who is not included in community conversations.
When I was in high school, it was still legal to discriminate against our lesbian and gay friends and family members.
Secretary of State and Ellsworth High School alumni Shenna Bellows also made an appearance, sending a message before the upcoming primary election that everyone has a right to participate in our democracy.
So to have a celebration like this, where the community across generations is celebrating that right to be yourself, to love who you love, to be in community with each other, that means a lot to me.
To learn about more upcoming Pride events, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Ellsworth, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And over in Belfast, the community didn't let Saturday's weather rain on their parade. Our Callie Warren takes us to the heart of the city to look at their festivities.
Despite a downpour, hundreds attended the Belfast Pride Parade and Festival on Saturday.
And I hope people feel really comfortable with the parade, with the community, with it all despite the downpour.
All of the Pride Month festivities for the city were organized by the Belfast Area High School Gender and Sexuality Alliance.
What's especially great is the fact that it's the students who really drove it. It went away because of COVID, and they said we really want to have it back, and they took it and pushed it.
Organizers say the Pride Festival was an opportunity to celebrate Belfast's LGBTQ+ community.
This is just natural and normal and just very welcoming and open.
They also say bringing the event to life was a group effort.
I don't know if it really hits, like the realization fits in that I'm so instrumental in it. It feels a lot more like a group project where everyone's actually pitching in rather than just being like the one person leading it all, because the community is just so great.
In addition to Saturday's celebration, a Pride-themed art installation will be placed in Heritage Park down by the Belfast waterfront later this month. In Belfast, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, looks like they had a mixed bag as far as weather goes.
Yeah, no, unfortunately it wasn't a great weekend for all those festivities, but it looks like they still had a great turnout, so you can't complain too much.
Yeah, absolutely, I was noticing that too.
Yeah.
But hey, as far as the mixed bag goes, it looks like today may be like that as well, maybe even into tomorrow. So let's get a check of that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
All righty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already, wave heights is checking on those this morning at around 2 to 4 feet according to the buoys out there. For now, we have no advisories in effect offshore or onshore for that matter as well. Meanwhile, though, we do have some areas of dense fog, very localized in a few spots this morning near parts of Bar Harbor and maybe in parts of Washington County as well. Whatever's developing out there will be going away coming up later on today. And meanwhile, though, we are going to be watching for showers that will be moving in. We have an area low pressure up in parts of Canada right now, sending rain in the northern parts of Maine and as well as in the southern parts as well. Once we reach the central parts of the state, we're seeing a few showers developing. We'll see a few more of those developing on and off throughout the daytime period as that area low pressure slowly but surely tracks off towards the north and east. It's not really moving all that quickly. It's also causing some showers and storms across parts of the Atlantic Ocean. We're even seeing a little bit more activity in the southern parts of the U.S. as well. So futurecasts moving forward for us. We have the showers on the way, especially in the northern parts of the state today. We have a little bit more in our neck of the woods as well. Coming up later on tonight, we will calm things down. Mostly clear skies, areas of dense fog possible to watch out for as we head towards early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, so maybe a few showers again for Tuesday afternoon with, again, mostly cloudy with a few showers as we get some of that daytime heating going. But notice again, this all gets out of here by Tuesday night. Some clouds and fog possible again Tuesday night and the parts of Wednesday morning. So as for the rainfall for today, some spots, especially in the northern parts of the state, could see up to 1/4 of an inch, if not more, before we're all finished up. Lower amounts possible further down toward the south. Then running this through for the rest of the week, a little bit more rainfall, but most of it will stay in the northern parts of the state. Otherwise, though, some gusty winds possible today, reaching up around 25 miles per hour at times. At its peak, most of us should stop at around 20 miles per hour before the winds back off later on tonight, and maybe a little bit of wind on the way, especially near the coastline as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. So the forecast coming up for today, lower 70s, mostly cloudy, showers on the way, and that west wind gusting up to around 20 miles per hour at its maximum at times. Later on tonight, lower 50s, mostly clear, areas of dense fog possible with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, here we go, partly cloudy, a few showers possible again with the daytime heating, highs in the upper 70s, that southwest wind getting up to around 5 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies, showing showers and thunderstorms possible on Wednesday with highs in the upper 70s, lower 80s for your Thursday under a partly cloudy sky, more showers and thunderstorms possible Friday with highs in the upper 70s.
It's time to bring the family and friends to Fort Knox. One of the best preserved and most accessible Civil War forts in the nation is right in our backyard, just off Route 1 across from Bucksport. Open every day, May through October, rain or shine. Check our website for details.
You can't leave without cuddles, but you also can't leave covered in hair. With Bounce Pet, you can cuddle and brush that hair off. Bounce, it's the sheep.
After getting into a car accident, my husband and I weren't sure of how to deal with the other insurance company.
We made the decision to reach out to the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
One phone call got the ball rolling.
It was a free evaluation, but it was a big relief.
They were easy to work with, and it was clear right away that they cared about our situation.
Knowing that we had Joe's team working for us
and fighting for us
meant that I could focus on healing.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
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 You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam.
How have we got to Tam?
Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Thousands of kids like Grayson and Elliot receive care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center each year. You can help them by supporting the Summer Classic for Maine kids. This golf tournament will help kids receive care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center by raising funds to ensure that health care is available today, tomorrow, and in the years ahead. Every dollar raised helps kids get back to the business of being kids. For more information about the tournament and how to register, please visit northernlight.org/forkids. Did you know that the Penobscot Narrows Bridge Observatory is the tallest in the world, with the fastest elevator in New England and 360-degree views from 420 feet up? Open every day, May through October. Check our website for details.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. On Sunday, the Israeli army released footage of what it says shows the operation to rescue 4 hostages from Gaza a day earlier. Soldiers can be seen running out of military vehicles, and troops are shown on the beach as a helicopter flies over. The unscathed hostages were escorted by soldiers as they walked along the sand. Gaza's health ministry says at least 274 Palestinians were killed in the Israeli air and ground raid. The ministry says around 700 people were injured. The air and ground assault into central Gaza on Saturday was the largest rescue operation since the conflict between Israel and Gaza began 8 months ago.
Benny Gantz, a centrist member of Israel's war cabinet, announces his registration after saying he would leave the government on Saturday if Prime Minister Netanyahu did not come up with a new plan for post-war Gaza by then. Although the registration is alarming, it will not pose an immediate threat to Netanyahu, who is still in control of the majority of the coalition in parliament. But he will need to rely more heavily on his far-right allies. The popular former military chief joined the government after the October 7th attack by Hamas, a move that boosted Israel's international credibility, as Gantz has a good relationship with U.S. officials.
The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, expands approval for pharmaceutical company GSK's RSV vaccine. The department expanded approval for the GSK RSV vaccine to extend to adults down to 50 years old who are at a higher risk of severe RSV, also called respiratory syncytial virus. The pharmaceutical company previously asked the FDA to expand approval beyond adults 60 and older back in February. The next step for the vaccine is to have the recommendation approved by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices before it can be administered to adults between 50 and 59 years old. Further trials for the vaccine plan on looking at adults between 18 and 49 years old. GSK says results for that are expected in the second half of 2024. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, I had the opportunity on last Monday, I think it was, to get behind the wheel of a race car with Maine's own Delaney Dunn, and we'll take you to the track at Speedway 95 in Herman to show off her need for speed. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basement-y. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basement-y.
Major League Baseball on Fox.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do it. Can't stop, nah, won't stop. It's been on live, you don't believe it, just watch.
Jaw-dropping stuff.
Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Monday, June 10th, 2024, and today is National Iced Tea Day. 1904 has been recorded as the first year Americans had this refreshing caffeinated drink. with visitors at the St. Louis World's Fair being offered it because of the heat, naturally. It was a new invention at the time, but it's been popular ever since word got out. Do you drink iced tea?
I do. Are you sweetened or unsweetened?
Unsweetened.
Oh, yeah,
Have you ever made sun tea?
Sun tea? No,
Yeah.
never. What's sun tea?
Somebody's told me before that you can get like a bacterial infection from this, so to each their own. But you just leave like tea bags. No, I know, but like I grew up drinking it. You just like leave a big thing of water and ice and tea bags in the sun for hours on end, and it makes iced tea.
You grew up drinking this?
Yes.
Well, you're still here today, so
Right.
maybe it is
So,
safe enough.
50-50, Some people also drink unpasteurized milk, so.
It can't be worse than drinking from the hose.
Right? That too.
Yeah.
Good point. I did that too.
All right, now for some history. On this day in 1692, the Salem witch trials were underway, and the first victim, Bridget Bishop, was hanged for witchcraft in the colony of Massachusetts.
Always worth remembering that history.
Oh, it's such an interesting story.
Yeah.
I know the Salem witch trials, just the play.
Right,
is
The Crucible.
The Crucible
I saw
is a
that
great
recently.
play. Oh, really?
Yeah, it was an opera.
One of my favorite plays.
Yeah, very cool. Good stuff.
In 1772, Rhode Islanders in the American colonies boarded and sank the British revenue cutter Giuseppe in the
Narragansett.
Narragansett. Thank you for that save.
I've had that beer before. That's how I know it.
Oh, you've had a beer.
Right. No, there's a beer called Narragansett.
Really?
Yes. It's not great.
No. Well.
No.
In 1752, Benjamin Franklin tested his historic and memorable lightning conductor with his kite flying experiment. In 1933, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued an executive order making Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills of South Dakota part of the National Park Service. Very interesting.
Yeah, part of my bucket list for travel right there.
Really? Haven't been there yet?
Yeah, me
I've
neither.
always wanted to go.
I know, it's like an American necessity.
You have to.
Yeah.
In 1935, the group Alcoholics Anonymous was founded in Akron, Ohio. In 1940, Italy, under the rule of Benito Mussolini, declared war against France and Great Britain, entering World War I. In 1966, Janis Joplin played her first gig with the Big Brother and the Holding Company at the Avalon Ballroom in San Francisco. And in 2007, the last episode of The Sopranos aired on HBO, one of my favorite series.
I
Have you
know.
watched it yet?
Oh yeah, I love The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it's in entirety. It's on Max right now.
Yeah, the ending, controversial ending.
I know.
What do you think of it?
I haven't seen it yet.
What?
I know.
Oh, you gotta watch it all.
I'm just awful with TV shows. I just fall asleep. So it's like I can love a show and it's like, yeah, I haven't seen the ending yet. Don't spoil it for me.
All right. Well, some birthdays?
Some birthdays. Yeah, today we have actress and model Kate Upton. She's 32 years old today. Comedian and actor Bill Burr. He's 56. He's kind of a controversial one. He's like one of those ones that really pushes the limit for what he's allowed to say, I think. And actress Kate Flannery, known for her role as Meredith on The Office, is 60 years old today. And moving along, it's another rainy day here in Maine. We had a rainy weekend, so more rain. And let's get a check of that forecast with meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, and tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, let's get into things this morning. Some areas of dense fog greeting us near parts of Bar Harbor, maybe over in parts of Washington County this morning. This will all begin to taper off coming up later on today, as we'll also be watching out for chances for showers. Looks like we've had some of that developing last night. Looks like we'll have a little bit more developing this morning and again this afternoon with this area low pressure rotating off to the north. Now give us some showers in the northern parts of the state as well as in the southern parts of the state as well. Let's zoom things out. That's mainly the main action right now. This area low pressure here setting some showers in our direction as well as some showers and storms over parts of the Atlantic Ocean at this time. Futurecast moving forward again. Scattered showers on the way for us today. Things calm down later on tonight as we'll be under a mostly clear sky with areas of dense fog possible across the region. As for the winds, they'll pick up a little bit today with sustained winds getting close to around 12 miles per hour at times with gusts up to 20 miles per hour possible at times as well. So coming up for today, lower 70s, mostly cloudy, showers possible with that west wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour at times. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mixture of clouds and sunshine, scattered showers for the afternoon period, temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. Well, switching gears now, Delaney Dunn has been racing cars since she was just 15 years old, and now at 25, she's still called Kiddo by the locals. But don't let that fool you, because there's nothing juvenile about her need for speed. Here's the story.
Oh, I would do it all year long. If I could go all the way down south during the winter time and get away from the snow up here and go racing, I would. If I could race all year round, I would.
Delaney Dunn has come a long way in her decade of racing, winning her first ever Sport 4 feature event at Speedway 95 on Saturday, which is the fastest class for 4-cylinder engine cars. But that doesn't mean she isn't capable of slowing down. When asked how she won this last race, she said,
I had to go slow to go fast, because you can burn the tires off if you try going fast when you really shouldn't be. It puts excess wear and tear on the car.
But still, that doesn't mean she's always learned the easy way.
She ruined quite a few cars getting to this point, but...
Do you think that's normal?
It really is. I mean, racing, everybody, I mean, I've wrecked quite a few cars now, too, so... It happens. That's part of racing.
That was Delaney's dad, who's one of her most essential team members. But she has a lot of support, and part of the fun to her is being able to show that support right back.
We're a family race team. My dad raced before I did, and my cousin Jeff races in the cage runner division currently. My half-brother is getting into racing, into the cars as well, so it's a family affair.
And their goals for the competition and the sport are reflective of that mutual support.
We're really just out to have fun, you know. I told her, if we're not having fun, then we're not going to do it anymore.
Delaney's next race at Speedway 95 is on Saturday, June 22nd. You can watch her there, racing her 1996 Acura Integra called Bear. In Herman, I'm Emma Smith for ABC 7 and Fox 22. Okay, we're super short on time, so I won't gush too much, but I had such a fun time with Delaney. She's awesome, her family is amazing, and it was so cool to learn from them.
I'm so jealous of you.
Ask them, I'm sure they'd offer too.
Oh, maybe a destination. We'll have to see.
Yeah, right?
All right,
right after the break, Ryan Sudol has our sports updates.
Dine on the deck with a delicious view at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Open Tuesday through Sunday. We are pet friendly, so your furry friends are always welcome to join you at your table. You'll love the tradition of the Lucerne Inn.
While politicians talked, President Trump fought for working people. He took on China and secured the border. I'm Austin Terrio, former NASCAR driver and small business owner. I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement. Together we'll secure the border, stop Biden's electric vehicle mandate, and bring back American manufacturing. I'll fight to make sure our best days are ahead.
Endorsed by President Trump. Austin Terrio for Congress.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
Every time you shop at Hannaford, you help us promote inclusivity, opportunity, and a sense of belonging in every store. You help us build a culture where leaders reflect our diverse communities, where veterans forge new career paths, and where our employees and neighbors alike can find their voice. Together, we're not just feeding families, we're strengthening communities. Hannaford Supermarkets, greater than groceries.
Hammond Lumber Company has been a trusted partner of professional contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners for generations. It's the level of trust that Hammond Lumber has earned by providing an extensive selection of products and materials from industry-leading suppliers, with guidance and support through every stage of any project, including delivery of materials throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company is, has been, and will always be your building project partner.
Dine on the deck with a delicious view at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Open Tuesday through Sunday. We are pet friendly, so your furry friends are always welcome to join you at your table. You'll love the tradition of the Lucerne Inn.
Meet Sheldon's favorite professor.
Perhaps we could have dinner sometime.
Excellent. So where are we eating?
Young Sheldon.
Weekdays at 4 on Fox 22.
Hey everybody, Ryan Sudol here. Thank you so much for joining us. The Boston Celtics defeating the Dallas Mavericks in Game 2 of the NBA Finals Sunday night. They are halfway to an NBA championship. Speaking of champions, let's go to some high school tennis. Saturday marking the B North Regional Championships and the Boys C North Championship. Caribou defeating Waterville in the B North Girls Final at Bangor High in the morning. Let's go to the dry confines of Armstrong Tennis Center for the other two matches. Starting with the B North Boys Final between top seed MDI and number 2 Caribou, looking for the sweep there. Second doubles, Eli Hansberry and Caden Sweet of MDI against Caribou's James Bennett and Landon Spooner. Bennett the return here, but Sweet with some sweet placement on this shot. Trojans win in straight sets. Second singles, MDI's Jamison Weir against Ben Bouchard. Bouchard sends this one high into the air, and Weir just spikes it down and in for the point. He wins on straight sets. Over to first singles, Caribou's Sammy Bear against Owen Kelly. Kelly a lob, and that sets up Bear for a ripper that just stays in. He wins that match. But before that, first doubles, Caribou's Abe Bouchard and Landon Waldemerson against Riley Donahue and Caden Braun. Braun spikes Bouchard's return with authority. Championship point. Trojans win B North 4-1.
We've been looking forward for this match for pretty much the whole season, and now we're here, so it's awesome.
Our coach wasn't able to be here today, and we really wanted that, to be able to go to States and be with him for one last match.
Now to the C North Boys Final, defending champs top seed Orono against the 3 seed Washington Academy. Third singles, Orono's Bergen Soderberg against Unai Reno. Soderberg putting it right where it needs to be for the point. He wins the match. Second doubles, Orono's Al Cutter Wise and Wes Krause against Ashton Whitney and Zach Perkins. Wise sends this in, but Whitney says at the net. Point Raiders, they win this match. First singles now, Raiders Alejandro Rodriguez against Henry Boutens. Boutens shoots it high in the air, but Rodriguez comes on and makes Boutens swing and miss on the return. Match goes to Rodriguez, but by the time that was over, the Riots had clinched. Nick Agarwal against Colton Whitney at second singles. Agarwal somehow keeps that one in, and it forces Whitney off. The return is out. He goes on to win the match and clinch the title for the Riots, 3-2. Head to the Diamond for some Saturday night baseball. That afternoon rain we got forcing 2 high school regional semifinals to 7 p.m. starts, one of which Class A North semifinal between 8 seed Brewer and 4 seed Bangor. Bangor looking for redemption for their upset loss against the Witches to end their regular season. Top 3, Witches up 2-0. Hunter Merrithew cuts this one into right. It drops. Logan Littlefield scores 3-0 Witches. Bottom 3, it's 3-1 now. Bases loaded for Teddy Stevenson, but Caden Morin gets him looking to end the threat. Bottom 4, it's 3-2. Jack Shook, a line drive to deep center field. That gets down near the wall. Gavin Glanville True scores easily to tie the game up at 3. Couple batters later, Scotty Sakabason, a base hit up the middle. Shook is going to round third and slide home to make it 4-3 Rams. Bangor back to the North Final, 7-3 the final. Now over to Hedrick Field. Brewer kind enough to host this C North semifinal between top seed Foxcroft Academy and 4 seed Bucksport. Top first, bases loaded for Bucksport's Ryan Winchester, but Calvin Landry comes up huge with the strikeout to retire the side. Top second, Ada McGuire up for the Bucks. Grounder to Jaden Richard at short, but the throw goes awry. Bo Proventure scores. It's 1-0 Bucksport. Bottom second, Gavin Holyoke on the mound does the darn thing, striking out the side here. A 10K complete game 1 hitter for him. Top 3 now. McGuire again, this time a base hit into right. Rounding third is Proventure. He's going to slide in safely. It's 2-0. Bucksport is going to go for their 3rd straight regional title. They win 6-0. And now for some other scores from the area. Class B North Baseball semifinals. Ellsworth, the top seed over MDI, 5-3. Class A North Softball semifinals. Oxford Hills over Hamden Academy, 7-3. Class D South Baseball semis. St. Dom, 6-0 over PCHS Greenville. And PVHS defeating Jonesport Beals in the Class D North Softball semis, 12-2. And finally, let's hit the track. The New England High School Track and Field Championships being held down at the University of New Hampshire Saturday. Plenty of Northern Mainers there. Let's take a look at some of the notable top finishers from the region. Okay, starting with the girls, TN Ewings from Holton, second in the 3200, as always close behind in fourth, Orono's Ruth White. Natasha Monreal from Bucksport, sixth in the long jump, Ava Goulet of PCHS 12th in the discus, and Bangor's 4x100 relay team finishes 14th. Also, Taylor Pelletier from Wyndham, winning triple jump, first place there. Now to the boys, Bucksport's Will Heilman, 10th in the 1600, Sumner's Caleb Colson, 8th in the 800, Miles Burr from MDI, 11th in the 200, Joseph Richard from Winslow, a bronze in the 400. Will Rush from Madomic Valley, 4th in the triple jump. Billy Albertson from Skowhegan finishes 8th in the same event. All right, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
When you smell the amazing scent of Gain Flings, time stops. And you realize you're in love.
Steve!
With a laundry detergent. Gain Flings, seriously good scent.
In 10 years, Lisa Schneider will have an amazing second act, thanks to career reskilling courses from AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. The younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Whether it's coaching Little League, volunteering to help our seniors, building affordable places to call home, or providing the children of our employees with scholarships. The New England Toyota dealers and the thousands of people we employ play a role in lifting up the community. We're proud to serve you and to be part of those things that benefit us all. Toyota. Let's go places.
Great Scott! This is Green Bear 420 in 2010. What kind of trip is this? I gotta get back to 2023. Wait, it's 2015. So much has changed. In 2023, we had a lot more glass, t-shirts, and novelties. It's gonna take a bolt of lightning to get me home. Finally, home at last. Now Green Bear 420, Green Bear Green Care is bigger and better than ever. To be continued.
A former fashion designer turned farm owner in Northport is helping Mainers feel good about themselves from the inside out.
It's not just what you taste, it's how you feel. And that's become really the core mission of our business.
We'll share more about Gray's Maine tonight on Fox 22 News at 10.
The place is on fire.
Name That Tune is all new.
Free bird! That is correct!
Tonight on Fox.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with Emma Swift. She's a mental health counselor, and she's here to talk today about Pride Month and how folks in the LGBTQ diaspora are kind of more at risk for certain mental health illnesses and symptoms of mental illness. Emma, thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, like I said, let's dive into it and kind of why are we having this discussion around Pride?
Yeah, so June historically is the month that we celebrate Pride, and I'm a big fan of facts. One of the facts is in 1969, LGBTQ Pride started as a riot in New York City. And that riot was called the Stonewall Riot. And that was really what was the catalyst for the gay rights movement in the United States. So that is why in the month of June, historically, the first one was in 1970 in New York City. And then after that, in 1971, people across the world were celebrating Pride. And so that's why June historically is just the month that we celebrate it. And from a mental health perspective, I think it is so important to understand that when someone doesn't feel accepted by who they are to their core, that they cannot control, we are born this way, that if you tell them that you don't accept who they are as a person, that makes their mental health significantly higher risk for things like suicide. I was telling Emma before that every 45 seconds in the United States, someone in the LGBTQ community who's age 13 to 24 is attempting suicide. Every 45 seconds.
In the country?
In our country, just our country.
Wow.
Every 45 seconds. And that was a study that just came out last year. Okay, it is up 5%. 47% of Americans know somebody who's in the community. And that's up 5% from 2 years ago, where 47% of US adults know somebody who is in this community. It is affecting us so widely, and it is so important. I work with people every single day, and I work on crisis planning, crisis intervention, and just basically telling them, like, it is okay to be who you are, and you are safe here in my office, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure that I spread awareness around these issues so that we can spread love and kindness, humankind, because we're all human.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from this, Emma, is that it appears that pride and saving lives to you are kind of on par.
For sure.
That's what this message appears to be to me.
Yeah, it's incredibly important.
45 seconds.
Every 45 seconds.
Takes their own life.
Or attempts to.
Attempts to.
They attempt to take their own life every 45 seconds.
Why do you think that could be? Why does somebody think that their life isn't worth living?
I think it's just a little bit of hopelessness that it's not ever going to get better. And that we're never going to live in a place where we can just all be who we are born to be and have it be okay, because it doesn't matter. Your opinion, my opinion, his opinion, doesn't matter. You just got to accept people for exactly who they are and spread love and kindness. And then let's focus on some of these issues in our country that are actually an issue, like actually matter, versus who someone chooses to love. Just let people love who they want to love and be who they are. And then we'll deal with the rest of the issues in our country.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense that you're advocating that from a mental health standpoint. Yeah. Emma, we're out of time, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Of course. We'll send it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
All righty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already, wave heights is checking on those this morning at around 2 to 4 feet according to the buoys out there. For now, we have no advisories in effect offshore or onshore for that matter as well. Meanwhile, though, we do have some areas of dense fog, very localized in a few spots this morning near parts of Bar Harbor and maybe in parts of Washington County as well. Whatever's developing out there will be going away coming up later on today. And meanwhile, though, we are going to be watching for showers that will be moving in. We have an area low pressure up in parts of Canada right now, sending rain in the northern parts of Maine and as well as in the southern parts as well. Once we reach the central parts of the state, we're seeing a few showers developing. We'll see a few more of those developing on and off throughout the daytime period as that area low pressure slowly but surely tracks off towards the north and east. It's not really moving all that quickly. It's also causing some showers and storms across parts of the Atlantic Ocean. We're even seeing a little bit more activity in the southern parts of the U.S. as well. So futurecast moving forward for us. We have the showers on the way, especially in the northern parts of the state today. We have a little bit more in our neck of the woods as well. Coming up later on tonight, we will calm things down. Mostly clear skies, areas of dense fog possible to watch out for as we head towards early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, so maybe a few showers again for Tuesday afternoon with, again, mostly cloudy with a few showers as we get some of that daytime heating going. But notice again, this all gets out of here by Tuesday night. Some clouds and fog possible again Tuesday night and the parts of Wednesday morning. So as for the rainfall for today, some spots, especially in the northern parts of the state, could see up to 1/4 of an inch, if not more, before we're all finished up. Lower amounts possible further down toward the south. And then running this through for the rest of the week, a little bit more rainfall, but most of it will stay in the northern parts of the state. Otherwise, though, some gusty winds possible today, reaching up around 25 miles per hour at times. At its peak, most of us should stop at around 20 miles per hour before the winds back off later on tonight, and maybe a little bit of wind on the way, especially near the coastline as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. So the forecast coming up for today, lower 70s, mostly cloudy, showers on the way, and that west wind gusting up to around 20 miles per hour at its maximum at times. Later on tonight, lower 50s, mostly clear, areas of dense fog possible with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, here we go, partly cloudy, a few showers possible again with the daytime heating, highs in the upper 70s, that southwest wind getting up to around 5 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies, showing showers and thunderstorms possible on Wednesday with highs in the upper 70s, lower 80s for your Thursday under a partly cloudy sky. More showers and thunderstorms possible Friday with highs in the upper 70s.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
When it comes to automotive and heavy equipment repair, trust the experts at CTI Service Center, located in Old Town and Milford. CTI offers heavy-duty part sales at our Old Town location, as well as on-the-road service with our heavy-duty mobile units. CTI also offers tire sales, including mount and spin balance, as well as Old Town's only heavy-duty alignment system. CTI Service Center diagnoses issues swiftly and accurately. For reliable service and peace of mind, give us a call or visit us online at ctiservicecenter.com. CTI Service Center, simply the best.
With Cascade Platinum Plus, I have upped my dish game.
Auntie, in that dishwasher.
Watch me.
Platinum Plus gives you the highest standard of clean, even in your machine.
Clean enough for you?
Yeah.
Scrape, load, done. Cascade Platinum Plus.
Oh, another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
I'm sweating.
This summer.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less.
The celebrities.
First time you two have met each other.
Yes, I have to say I'm a huge fan.
Thank you. I didn't recognize you, but
Are throwing shade.
you've been great against each other. You've become closer friends.
Yes, a lot has transpired. But just know, when we leave here, I will block Melissa's number.
5 days a week.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
All right, looks like we're about out of time. If you missed anything, head to foxbangor.com.
Have a great day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he's a big fan of board games, but I find any game with him makes me bored. It's Corbin Blue. And joining Corbin are boyfriends Ryan and Alex. She recently appeared in the third series of ABC's Big Sky. I've got a third series? Why? It's Angelique Cabral. And joining her are returning champions, married couple Gabriella and Chad. And now here's your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Hello, everybody in Podland. How are you? Hi, Meredith.
So great.
Hi. Angelique and Corbin, you are not only great contestants, and pitting you against each other has been like the perfect pairing, but you're also happily married, and I love to find out how people met their spouses. So, Corbin, how did you meet your wife?
We actually met in a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Very old-fashioned. Can't
Wholesome.
believe it happened. I was in Toronto. My wife is Canadian. I was in Toronto